Welcome back to the fantasy show.
Yeah, you got to remember now. There's a camera.
There's a camera. You got to look at the camera.
So every so often, you got to look at the camera.
We're not live, at least,
No,
so
no,
we can edit out any stupidity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're going to try this out because a lot of you said if we get video, you'll watch.
That's right. You said we're trying to make you happy.
Yeah.
This is all for you.
So obviously there's a third person in the studio, which you'll find out later.
Yeah.
On the other show.
Watch. Well, I don't know if you're gonna watch the regular show, the main show.
I don't think we have video for the regular show because we can't figure out the setup. But hey, we're flying by the seat of our pants.
We're figuring this out as we go.
It's a common theme here on Tampa Bay Cop Talk.
It's what we do.
You've tuned into Tampa Bay Cop Talk. You're back.
Yeah.
This is the fantasy show.
We're gonna go run down some players you should be looking at for the fantasy league. Should we do the standings first, though?
We always do the standings first. And this week's standings will be extra special. Extra special. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling.
Get ready.
Haven't looked at the table in quite some time.
This could go on for a while.
If I'm being honest, haven't looked at the standings. All right.
I've been trying not to look at them as I'm Man U right now.
Yeah.
12th.
Yeah.
You know.
And so we're gonna run that table, bottom and top, as always, and we're gonna look at the top team and what that brilliant owner has done to get that top spot. As we always do.
Help me out, guys.
This
We're
is
gonna
normal.
This is
the normal standard operating procedures. So at the bottom of the table, Alice Sullivan with Soli LFC, 273 points. She is
hang in there,
Darby
Alice.
County. No offense, Alice, but you are a full 50 points off of everyone else.
Watford.
Yeah, Watford of this season, you are the Darby County of our league.
Sorry, Alice. Hang in there.
Come on, Soli LFC. You got this. In 19th, the Cobblers with Ray Kelly, 329 points. As you see, the 56-point gap there between bottom spot and 19. Don't want to rub it in. Sorry. In 18th, Manny, you're dropping down the table, Manny.
You know what? The Rowdies have a playoff push. Manny's
Yeah.
distracted. I'm going to give him a break and assume that he'll come back second half of the season.
You're right. We can expect better from Manny. He's got 365 points with Matip Boys. In 17th, Garrett. Once again, there's a lot.
And he used his wild card.
Yeah.
How'd you get it wrong twice, bud?
Yeah, come on, Garrett. I've told him that to his face. But the horse and jockey players, all at the bottom here.
All at the bottom.
Come on, guys. I can't carry us to victory alone, okay? So Cloptimus Prime Garrett has 369 points. In 16th, Anfield Rouge with Renato Lima, 369 as well. Wait a second. I'm seeing here we have 3 players on 369 points from 15th to 17th. The other player being Chuck 1985 with 369. In 14th, Tyler Hutowski with Ledyard Rebels, 380 points. Tied with Who Needs Slabhead?
Which I like that name.
Yeah, 380 points. In 12th, the David Rice, ladies and gentlemen, with 387 points.
I still haven't fixed my team name.
Yeah, offensive team name.
I just can't stand their censorship.
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't even that offensive.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Shoddy has dropped down the table since coming into
falling
the league.
apart, Shoddy.
Came into the league.
I hope. Are you watching in Saudi?
He came into the league, was in first, if you remember, and then just promptly fell off the table. He has 398 points. Now we're in the 400s. Now we're in the top half. Let's talk about 6. Scott Stewart, 404 points. In 9th,
how did Tom sneak into the top 10?
Well, he picked up Matip when it was hot, and he just rode that wave out. He listened to our advice, and he captured. That's how you win this league,
He hasn't
folks.
sold him off yet, though.
That's true. He's still starting.
And that's a
him.
key injury.
Yeah.
So.
With Skirtled with 405 points in 9th. Jack Kane has fallen down the table. Changed his team name.
Stopped captaining Sterling, did you?
Yeah.
No, you probably
fell
didn't.
for that peer pressure, did you, Jack? Did I make you feel bad? How dare you? Jack Kane, no scum players, which is what I roasted him for the whole time I saw him at the AGM, was how he had scum players in his team. He's got 410 points, tied in 7th with Mike Hanna. Calm as you like with 410 points. In 6th, Ale, 412 points, JT Thomas. Ryan Ford in 5th with the champion spelled with
There's
a
a horse and jockey guy.
There you
representing in the top
423. He was hounding me for my captaining of Mane consistently because it's one of the main reasons. Wait. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll get there.
All right.
We'll get there.
Whoa.
Yeah, sorry. Dyslexia United, Adam Booth is in 4th, top 4 here, European places, 424 points. Tied in 3rd with the Unbearable Reds, Matt Fisher, 424 points. In 2nd, we have Ryan Hitowski, Morning Glory, with 432 points. And
is that like an Oasis reference?
Is it? Let us know.
Let us know. Drop it in the comments.
And at the top of the table with 443 points, Komcheski's Bald Army, myself. Let's look at that team.
With Lloris in goal.
Yes, I took the top spot with Lloris snapping his arm in half. So How boss am I, right? So here we go. My starting lineup, it won't be Hugo Lloris anymore. We're going to get into it later, my strategy, what I'm going to do going forward. But I've got Lloris in goal, Alexander Arnold, Andy Robbo.
You got to have our fullback.
Martin Kelly was my highest scoring defender last week, folks. I said it.
He's putting in a solid shift at Palace. You got to give him credit.
I think I said it in the first fantasy show we had.
Yeah.
Like if you need a cheeky guy that's cheap that gets clean sheets.
Yeah. He's like a key player for his team.
Yeah. He's been playing for Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, like every other game, is getting a clean sheet against teams that aren't as good. And yeah, he got an assist against who did they play?
You're like, aren't
West
as
Ham.
good. I'm like, well, Palace aren't as good as they look right now.
Yeah, that's true too.
They're like,
but
what,
yeah,
fifth?
Martin Kelly's been getting me the points. Been captaining Sadio Mane, and he's just been scoring and assisting like crazy. I have Mason Mount. I have James Madison.
So, okay, on Mane, do you get points for the penalty?
Yes, it's an assist. Yeah. Loving it every day of the week. Mason Mount, James Madison, Harry Wilson. I have Tammy Abraham, Timo Pukki, Callum Wilson, and then my bench is Agnes Gunn, the goalkeeper from Southampton. I picked up Dele Ali thinking that Spurs were going to turn it around. Apparently not. That's probably going to be my transfer next week. Look out for it on the league. Maitland Niles and Jan Valerie from Southampton as well. And that's the leading team right there, folks.
Wow. You got some Southampton in there.
Yeah, you know what?
I have Hogersburg.
Just to rehash it, my whole strategy, all defenders are wingbacks because those are the ones most likely to get an assist.
Yeah.
If
you get a clean sheet, it's a bonus.
I bought into the hype that Sadio Mane is going to have a better season than Mo, and so far it's kind of it's kind of even, but it's playing out. And I've jumped on all the hot names up front early on: Timo Pukki, Callum Wilson, and Tammy Abraham. Will that stick around? I don't know. Obviously, people go through peaks and valleys. Timo Pukki, as we'll talk about coming up shortly, going through a bit of a valley. But I think
are you going to sell him now?
I think I'm getting there. In fact,
maybe that's the segue.
Let's get into it.
All right,
because we're talking about some disappointing players in this early part.
There's
of the
quite
season.
a few. There's quite a few.
And one of them we have down here is Timo Pukki, and we talked about it. At some point, it is going to slow down for him. The goal rate. He wasn't going to keep scoring a goal and a half on average.
He's going to get marked out of games. That's what was bound to happen.
Recently, it's not even that they've been playing teams that are difficult. Like they just played Villa at home and got absolutely
dusted. What was it, like
spanked.
5 or 6?
It was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, 6-1 or something like that.
Got absolutely spanked. So,
and it's like 2 weeks after doing City.
Yeah. So like
that's the league for you.
When you come up in the league, you have that first period where it's just like it's just a celebration. Oh, we're here. We've made it.
You're just happy to be involved.
Enjoy the moment. And then you get to the trudge of the season, which is right about now.
Yeah.
And it becomes the work. It's not just we're here. It's fun to be here. Let's celebrate. Oh, the last time we were here, this is what happened.
Yeah.
They beat City. That beating City was like the end of their welcome party.
Yeah. Well, that's what I kind of like or respect about Sheffield United. They came in from day one and they were just like, get to work.
Yeah.
There was no like celebration period. There was no like, oh, this is the feel good time. It was just like nitty gritty from the kickoff. And you have to give it to them. Like they've been surprisingly good.
Yeah.
For what I thought they were going to be, which was automatic relegation material.
Yeah. But as far as Timo Pukki goes, I'm thinking about selling him. As we said, buy him low, let his value go up, sell him high, pick up a couple extra 0.2 million or whatever for your transfer value. But yeah, it's now comes the trudge, and he hasn't been in form, and it's hard to get in form when it's the trudge. And so I don't have faith in him to really pick it back up until probably after the Christmas break. He's going to score goals, granted, but
he'll be involved.
I just don't think he's a reliable option as he was in the first few weeks of the season.
Well, we talked about all right, so now we're in that trudge period, but then like towards the end of the season when, if you're in that mid-table area, you just kind of let's just go for it.
Yeah.
I think he'll pick it up back then.
Well,
so I'd pick him back up in like maybe February, March sometime when he's still low in terms of value, but then you can like watch that value explode.
And it depends
again.
where Norwich is. If Norwich is struggling,
that's true.
In
if they're in like relegation zone still, then
maybe not.
Maybe
but
not.
If they're if it looks like they're safe, then they'll probably have a more opportunity just to go for games. And at that point,
I mean, the way they play, naturally, they're going to go for games a lot. So,
So Timo Pukki, a little bit of a disappointment now. A little bit. I'm going to get rid of him, to be completely honest.
I would too.
So not him or Dele Ali. I have to make a decision.
Well, you got to get rid of Ali first because Spurs.
Yeah.
as we'll just go right into it. Spurs are in shambles.
Yes, they are. And
Absolute mess.
listen, folks, it's not just that they can't figure out on the pitch. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes
A lot
stuff.
of behind the scenes. Should we get into the rumor?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's just talk about the rumor.
The rumor is that Jan Vertonghen made a pass or slept with Christian Eriksen's wife. And then in the
went
locker
John
room,
Terry on him.
Yeah, in the locker room when confronted, Harry Kane said "Wah, wah, wah, wah," and punched him in the face. That's an exact quote, folks. Wah, wah, wah.
He did show up at a press conference, I guess, with like a black eye or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
And
Then
people couldn't figure it out.
they're saying like Poch lost the locker room now. I don't know.
Well,
what's
listen,
happening.
before the Champions League final, Poch was very open in saying that if they won the final, he would leave. So it's not a very healthy work environment when
No.
the guy who's in charge is like, well, I was going to leave anyways, you know?
Yeah.
Christian Eriksen
queuing
wanted
up
out.
his exit.
Alderweireld is getting old and still pissed off that he wasn't allowed to go to Man United.
Yeah.
Jan Vertonghen obviously is not a popular guy.
No.
Hugo Lloris is on the drink and broke his arm. They sold their best two wingbacks in the last 3 or 4 years and can't get it together. Dele Alli's been hurt.
Yeah.
Christian Eriksen, who's supposed to be the key center part, like we said, doesn't want to be there, and his wife has gone astray.
His wife, his life, the whole thing.
Everyone's now realizing that Harry Kane is a good leader when things are going well because he's, a lead by example guy, but he's not a rah, let's do this,
Yeah.
Because he came out at the beginning of the season and said, we're going to challenge for the title this year, and it's already done.
He did score an amazing goal a couple weeks ago in which he both dived and scored. It
Yeah.
was that's an amazing thing to do, you know?
In Europe, they're not doing great. And then you got to consider this. The
7-2
Yeah.
at the hands of Bayern. Ouch.
The England national team, for the most part, is like a subsidiary of Tottenham.
Yeah,
And they
basically.
just lost to the Czech Republic after going 1-0 up early.
Yeah.
One of the worst Czech Republic teams ever. That's going to put a bad mood on the whole Spurs team when they come back because
Yeah.
they feel like they own that England team.
Yeah.
The
The new stadium's not being filled with positive energy, man.
Look, they lost to Brighton.
3-0 too. Like no one should lose 3-0 to Brighton. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, no one.
The 7-2 Bayern thing will stick in their heads longer than they care to admit.
Did you see somebody put up the I told you we broke them, and it was a Regi standing in front of the Madrid crowd, and 2-7.
Yeah. There you go. Wow. Well, the memes going around was that, at Arsenal, Serge Gnabry was 27, and Arsene Wenger's done it again. He's figured a way to get after Spurs, Oh, what a brilliant move by Arsene Wenger. Loans him to West Brom, so he fails, so he has to sell him to Bayern Munich, so he eventually beats our Spurs in their new stadium 7-2. Yeah.
It's a masterclass.
Spurs are falling apart, and while they do have the ability to turn it around, I just don't think it's just yet. And like I said, I have Dele Alli. I just don't rely on any of these attackers to do anything because they don't have the chemistry. The football on the pitch isn't coming together, and behind the scenes, it's tits up.
Apparently
Yeah.
a mess.
Early call. Pochettino leaves in January for
no,
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, because they're a mess too. Zidane, what does he even need to stick around for this crap for? You know what I mean? Like he's already won 3 European Cups with him. What do you? You're not going to win the league this year.
Although the narrative is that Real Madrid's fault, but they are top of the league right now.
I know,
It's like not on merit, really. Mainly on Barcelona just not getting their stuff together.
No.
But here's the real thing: La Liga's not as good.
No, it's going through a little bit of a dip right now.
Yeah.
I still think Atletico might win that league.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Atletico doing well. So let's continue down the line and just continue to roast our rivals.
Yeah.
Richarlison.
Trash.
Yeah.
He's had one good game all season. Everton are now in the relegation zone, which is just a beautiful sight.
Yeah. I posted on the Horse and Jockey page a photo from ESPN FC of the relegation race, and Man United and Everton are both in the graphic.
I like how they put him in the bottom right, too, as if to say, these two are definitely going down.
And the facial expression on Ali, the Hispanic dude, to the left of the picture is how I feel. Just a nice little just...
He's like, yeah, you see that?
Because, Everton and United in the relegation race, you hate to see it, folks. But
no, you don't.
What that means is when those two teams
They're
are
not going down.
in
They're
the
not
relegation
really going to
race,
go down.
what that obviously means is none of their star players are performing.
I did enjoy the footage of Marco Silva coming over to say hi to the fans after the loss at Burnley and just the absolute fume coming at him. Oh, it's great.
So, Richarlison, who's supposed to be the flashy, technical player of Everton's side, hasn't been. I signed him after his one big game, and he's done nothing. Got rid of him almost instantaneously.
Yeah. And Moise Keane continues to be invisible.
Yeah, let's throw
Iwobi's
him in
not
there.
doing anything. Is Iwobi even playing?
No.
So
Either is Moises Keane, which doesn't make sense because he came from Juventus, big club. It was a big deal. They made a huge deal about it.
What did he say? What was his quote? Like, was he the one that said
7 goals?
7 goals?
No, I think it was a Wobie.
Oh, that was a Wobie that said 7 goals.
My goal is
I've got 7 goals in me.
Yeah.
Who sets your cap at 7, man?
But yeah, the whole Everton squad is in shambles, and we'll see if they can turn it around. But once again,
I mean, you've got to expect at some point they're going to rattle off like 5 victories in a row over opposition that they should beat.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, they're talking about bringing David Moyes back, which.
Hey, he's a football genius. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, baby.
Oh, that's gonna be. The Anfield Rap was talking about how depressing the press conference would be.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, that would be brutal.
So moving on down the line, next up I put Manchester United attackers.
Where are they going to get goals from at this point, man?
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, on paper, these players all have talent, but you don't realize, like, how much Lukaku was dependent upon until he's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know why they got rid of him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Ole's at the wheel, and it's and the car has fallen apart.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. You get a new manager, you get that bump, and remember, everyone was saying it at the time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he came in and was given caretaker, all those games he had, he should have won.
Yeah, no.
And he did what he should have done.
Yeah.
But he earned a job off the back of that because of that miraculous PSG win, which was not on merit, if we're being honest.
I could watch Rio Ferdinand talk about Man United's back, baby. I watched that clip, like, just shoot it straight into my veins.
I told you, if they could bottle this, I would chug it. If there's a clip of Rio Ferdinand after they beat PSG. He's like, what you do is you sit him down with a contract. You say how much you want, how long do you want it for, and you sign the ting. Manchester United are back, baby. And it just fills my soul with joy. Every time watching
They thought that. They ever thought that.
If you need the clip and you're feeling down, just text me, DM me, and I'll send it
But
to
see,
you.
now they're at this point, though, when you listen to United supporters, it's like, well, we got to keep him. Because you got to end the coaching carousel at some point, right?
Yeah.
Which I get. But I'm like, maybe just go out and get, like, a fresh face. Somebody that's just like, no one knows who this person is.
They're having their Roy Hodgson moment right now.
Yeah, they are.
And the reason Liverpool survived their Roy Hodgson moment is because they ended it as soon as they possibly could. And so I don't want to give Manchester United solid advice, but you're in the middle of your Roy Hodgson moment. Where
you got to recognize it.
Where you're drawing and losing to teams and your manager is saying things like, well, the effort was good. Like, you're in that moment. You need to get rid of it.
To Newcastle, who are, I mean, I like Newcastle and everything. I respect them as a football club. But they got no business with that squad and Steve Bruce, like, staying up.
That was Steve Bruce's first time ever beating United head-to-head.
Ever.
He literally shows up and tries to lose to United.
Yeah.
And he beat United.
He's like, I've done you enough service. I'm beating this team.
I think he showed up and he tried to lose. And then they won, and he's like, this Man United team shit.
Could be that as well.
Why can't they win? But yeah, if you're looking, because if you're signing attackers, you want goals and assists. And the only way you can get assists is if other people on the team are scoring goals. And obviously, you can only get goals if they're scoring goals.
Like,
and neither are happening for Manchester
And then the
United.
midfield is just terrible. Like, and I love how you turn it on and they like the Manchester United starting lineup, and there's at least like 3 guys in the lineup that I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen him play before.
Yeah. Twanzini.
Like who is it? Who the hell, where did he come from?
Patrick Chong. Yeah.
I still couldn't pick Diego Dalot or whatever out of a lineup. I couldn't. I can't tell you like what their future looks like. Name one guy in their academy.
Yeah.
No promising.
Yeah. And listen, hey, we're Liverpool supporters. Their next match after the break is us.
Yeah.
Do you fancy their attackers having a good day against our back line with Allison possibly back in there?
Yeah, Van Dijk and probably Matip back as well.
Probably. Like, that's, yeah.
Probably.
Probably don't
Even
wanna,
if it's Dejan Lovren.
Yeah.
Which we're going to, I have the whole Dejan Lovren diatribe on that for the main show, but we'll save that.
All right. So, yeah, Manchester United attackers, disappointing because they're a top 6 squad and they're in the bottom half of the league. So, they're not scoring the goals. Next up, our boy, the great American hope, Christian Pulisic. Very disappointing.
Yeah, although, like, all right, if you bought in, definitely sell now, for now.
Yeah.
But I still think, like, at some point, I think this is more of a challenge from Lampard. It's like, so when you look at Pulisic's career, like, he's always had things kind of carved out for him. Like, at Dortmund, he was, like, basically handed a role.
Yeah.
But I think he's hit this point in his career and in his potential where Lampard's like, I got dudes that can play that role. You need to show me what it is that, why am I going to put you on the pitch?
Yeah.
What is it that your role makes you special? You need to figure that out. I think it's more of a challenge from Lampard than him saying, like, you're not worth it.
No, it's not saying he's not good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, think about...
That seems to be how it's being translated by the media. But I don't think that's
We've gone through this with Fabinho, with Keita. There takes a betting in period for players coming to this league. And it's no different for Christian Pulisic. And he's only still 21.
He's a kid.
So, like, he needs to bet in, get used to the system. He already has an assist. It was a good assist earlier in the year.
Yeah.
He hasn't been playing, like, terrible. It's just that he has to get used to the new territory, the new setup, a new team. And there's senior players there, like Willian, like Pedro. They might be getting past it. But
and
they
people
have
are like,
proven success.
They're like, well, there's other young players starting over him. Remember that Mount played at Derby under Lampard last year. He knows what he wants. He knows the systems that he wants to play. Didn't Abraham play at Derby last year as well?
No, he played in the championship, but no, he didn't play.
Wait, so he's Lampard has seen more of him.
Yeah.
He's more familiar with him than he is with Pulisic.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, you can't even count that because he knows these kids.
Yeah.
Plus, they're English kids.
Yeah.
So he's probably seen them even more than just in the championship. You know what I mean? So just give him a minute. I'm still confident that Christian Pulisic will break into that team.
Him and wait till he starts getting minutes before you pick him back up.
Wait till he's playing regularly.
Listen, I'm pretty sure like 50% of our league picked him up with the first.
I'm pretty sure most of you picked him just straight out the gate.
I picked him straight out the gate, and I realized I switched him for Mason Mount about 2 weeks ago because I was like, Mason Mount's obviously getting the minutes. So
no, I didn't pick him because I was just like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know if he was going to adjust to the league well. So
next up on the list, the guy that we should have signed because we have no depth and we're shit is Pepe. Sorry, that was a stab at all of you. We don't have depth people out there. I know there's a lot of you.
Yeah.
But
$70 million for this kid, and he was never going to start.
Yeah, right?
Never going to start for us.
He would be our Pulisic sitting on the bench waiting to work in.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pepe brought
a player
in.
we didn't need.
He's had silky moves. He's been flashy at points, but he hasn't had the final.
Beat Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, but he hasn't had the final product, which is why you bring a guy in for $70 million.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I don't doubt that Pepe will pan out in the long run. I think that it's like, again, a betting in period. What's his name? The coach?
Emery.
Yeah. Drawing a blank there.
Yeah.
No, Emery, I think, his systems are complicated to learn as well. It's not just like you don't just walk in. So eventually it will come together for him. But right now, I wouldn't own him from a fantasy perspective.
Yeah, disappointing. 100. If Naby Keita is disappointing and a waste of $60 million because he hasn't kicked off yet, then Pepe's getting there, man. Like we're 3 months in and he hasn't contributed at all in any meaningful.
I think we're about to see the first Naby Keita stretch where he's gonna run things, but we'll see.
Yeah, Pepe disappointment. The other one, we had him last time and he's still disappointing because he can't even get on the pitch. But he came from Juventus for all this money and Everton did a whole social media campaign about welcome Moises Keane, another Everton player, disappointed.
Yeah, doesn't even play.
Yeah, what the heck, man? You're supposed to be this up-and-coming Italian attacker, can't even play for Everton.
No.
Just don't rely on the Ev. That's the number one rule. Don't
have Everton players right now. Just
rely
wait till
on the
something
Ev.
changes.
Next up, Miguel Almiron.
Yeah, he started really well last year when he came. He came over in January, I think.
Yeah.
Had a really good second half of the season, and then I don't know. He's just kind of fallen off
Still
this year.
hasn't scored a goal.
I think that because Steve Bruce plays a little differently, maybe his role's kind of different. I mean, I don't watch enough Newcastle. We'll have to ask Tony or something.
Yeah.
But I don't watch enough Newcastle to say definitively. But I expected more.
Yeah.
And then now it's like the Longstaff show. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, last year he came in, he started playing well, but he still hasn't scored a senior goal for Newcastle, which is just
Has he
weird.
not?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't scored a goal
he's
yet.
set up though. He's set up several.
Yeah. He's had assists, but he hasn't scored yet.
That's crazy. I didn't know
Atlanta
that.
United, he was the free-flowing number 10, scoring goals, assisting goals, and with Newcastle, he's kind of fallen off. Real quick on Newcastle, just real quick. When Andy Carroll came on the pitch, I was with my friend, and I was like, oh.
I can't even believe he's still alive.
When Andy Carroll came on the pitch,
He still has a career.
I said, oh, Newcastle is going to win this game. And I bet money on it live, and they won. And I was like, holy God almighty.
I love it because like Carroll comes on and there's always just like this random hope that fills your heart.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. And then he scores like great goal, breaks his tailbone, doesn't play for 2 years.
Yeah. But I saw Andy Carroll come on. I knew Newcastle was going to win, and they did. Thank you, Newcastle. You set up. That was the greatest football.
I'll never
weekend.
talk trash about Andy Carroll just for that Everton semifinal.
Yeah.
And the even the final against Chelsea, because he came in, scores a goal, then hits the bar, and it almost crossed the line. Did it cross the line? I don't know. Probably not.
They can have that one, and we'll keep Luis
We'll
Garcia.
keep Luis. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fair play.
Exactly. And also in his first game, he scored the double against Manchester City.
Yeah.
With
that 35-yard belter, that was awesome.
I always thought he would pan out, but apparently it wasn't to be.
Yeah.
And last but not least, because
field.
we just got to be honest with it, we got to throw Liverpool players in there. I put a Origi Shaq combo.
Yeah.
Backup Liverpool attackers haven't been doing anything.
From a points perspective, you're right. And you had Origi scoring like 94 goals this season.
Yeah.
I knew that wasn't going to happen. But no, I like from a points perspective, no. But like I still like Origi's play when he comes on the pitch. He does affect the game in a positive way, helps set up the penalty against Leicester and everything. So like I'm not complaining about Origi, but like from a fantasy perspective, probably not. Unless Mo's down for a period of time.
Yeah.
If like Mo's out for like a couple of weeks, then fine. But Shaq, I don't even know. I have no idea what to expect here.
Yeah.
I expect at some point he'll get on the field and play a role for us this season. This upcoming run of games after we come back from the international break seems like a good time for that to happen.
Genk.
Gank.
I'm looking at Genk.
Yeah. But like from a Premier League perspective, don't expect much.
Yeah.
So not in fantasy.
Listen, just real quick on Origi. Substitutions and shithouse goals.
Yeah.
And Origi, name a better triplet. There's never been a better triplet.
He's better off the bench.
Listen,
He's better off
the
the
best
bench.
thing about the penalty was that he does the flick over the defender and does all the hard stuff and then just takes too long, but it ends up being perfect anyways. It's just the most Origi thing I've ever seen.
It is.
He fucked it up, but it still worked, and football is nothing without Origi. This is why we have video now, so we can.
Exactly. So you can
All right.
appreciate our shirt game.
That's enough for our
What
disappointments.
year is this from?
This was the first kit I ever had. Not this exact one, but this is the 2000-2001 away kit.
Yeah. See,
one-
like I can't even remember.
We won the FA Cup in this one.
It's in great shape, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so this is not the one I owned.
Oh, okay.
The one I owned is like in a shadow box somewhere, tucked away.
You bought this replica off somewhere?
Well, okay, real quick.
All right.
Had to get
Oh, all right. Wow. The 17 too.
Stevie 17, because that's the Stevie I fell in love with
Yeah.
when I moved there. I won a 28. Here's the interesting thing. Numerology. Are we into it, folks? Are we into numerology? Let's get into it. Stevie Gerrard starts at number 28. Then he goes to 17. Then he goes to 8, right?
Yeah.
The difference between 17 and 28 is 11, like a striker. The difference between 17 and 8 is 9, like a striker. He was the 8, the 9, the 11. He was all of them. And 2 plus 8, 10. 1 plus 7, 8. But he was the 8, the 7.
See, I'm
the
not
9.
into numerology.
Folks, if you think about it long enough, you might get to where I was last night on my couch. That's all I'm saying. That's
International break for you. This is what's happening over at
Listen, folks.
House of Jordan.
Numbers are numbers, okay? And numbers don't lie. Numbers don't
We'll
lie.
have to get into it on one show, but I saw an interview with him about the Derby goal where he cuts outside, then hits that slicing goal back towards the opposite post, and then runs the length of the field like in their face. He's like, I was taking a corner earlier in the game and I got coined. So like someone hit him with a coin. He was like, I just had to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I might have gotten a little carried away there, but just like running the length of the pitch in their face.
Just to end the Stevie G discussion, I'm probably going to write an article at some point about why he's the greatest of all time in football.
All right.
And just be prepared for it, folks. Because listen.
But is he the successor to Klopp? That's the question making the rounds on social media.
Rangers top of the league right now.
We'll see. If he
will
wins that
see.
title for Rangers, I mean,
Listen,
it's something.
Steven Gerrard, definitely pick him up on your fantasy team, even if he won't give you any points. Just
Is he
'cause.
available?
No, he's not. But you can still sign Lukaku if you want to. Anyways, surprises so far.
All right.
Off the top, Mason Mount, been very good. He's been the one that's been replacing.
I
Christian
picked him up
Pulisic.
just because I was like, well, let's see. And it was the week that we were going to play them, so I didn't play him because I was like, I can't be having that.
And then he almost scored the
And then he almost
equalizer,
scores, yeah.
And you're happy you didn't
I was like,
play him.
oh, good. Get him away from me.
Because almost is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's right.
So, as my soccer coach
But no,
used to say,
he's had what, 2 or 3 good games in a row, a couple of assists, a goal.
early part of the season, he's been the complement to Tammy Abraham and the driving force with Tammy Abraham for that Chelsea team, which is surprising because they're both youngsters.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think that the two youngsters.
They're an interesting team right now. This is actually the coolest, like
Chelsea
most
you've ever
interesting Chelsea team I've seen since I started watching footy all the time, the Premier League.
It's the least hateable Chelsea
Yeah,
team.
no,
too.
it's like the most I could possibly like them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
still
still
hate
not
them,
crazy
yeah.
about the fans,
Yeah. Like they still suck.
yeah,
But like,
they still
don't
sing
suck as
annoying
much.
crap all the
Yeah.
time, you know.
Oh, it's just when they play them, and as soon as they start singing about Steven Gerrard, I'm like, yeah, I do hate this club. I do hate this club.
I just the Chelsea, that
Yeah.
like, it's awful sounding.
You know, there's more words in the English language than Chelsea. You get a whole host of words. There's a whole dictionary of words.
I don't know any of their real songs, like other than the songs they sing about us.
Why don't they go, I'm blue, I'm a nine. Hey, Chelsea, give me some
He's
royalty
throwing
money.
out ideas. He's got ideas all day for every club.
But yeah, Mason Mount's been driving force. Chelsea's been getting assists, been getting goals, and more importantly, playing on a consistent basis.
Absolutely.
Which is sometimes the only thing you really need on a fantasy team.
I'm about to pick this next guy up because I hyped him on the last show, and then we said he was going to be a bust, and he's continued to be awesome. I don't know what he's worth now. Probably could have made money on him at this point. But Sebastian Haller from West Ham.
Yeah.
Solid stats. I got to pull it up, but I think he's had like 3 games in a row now where he's either scored or assisted.
Yeah.
So he's been solid.
He's a big boy up there.
He is.
I watched the Crystal Palace West Ham game. I hadn't really watched a lot of West Ham, and seeing him up there, he is a big boy.
You know what you don't realize? Like, okay, he came from Eintracht Frankfurt, I think.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of underestimate Frankfurt, but Shoddy's boy, he hangs out at the Horse and Jockey sometimes. I can't remember his name right now, but he keeps hyping up Frankfurt to me. He's like, you got to watch him play. You got to watch him play. I'm like, okay. But I'm kind of like, maybe I do need to watch him play at this point because they've had several players over the last few transfer windows that have gone out and done things in other leagues. So
yeah, plus, who's the American guy that plays there? The
yeah,
left back
I can't remember
with
his
the
name.
weird hairline. I can't remember his name either. It's just blanking on
It's
it.
not Chandler.
No.
No.
Oh, God. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. He's not in the Premier League. And you can't pick him up, so don't worry about
Sebastian Haller has been he's been out there like, holler if you hear me. You know what I mean? Just
terrible. Terrible. That was terrible.
But yeah, so as you heard here first, David says pick him up, which means probably he's going to
Probably red card immediately after this. Because he also plays for West Ham.
Because last time out, Dave hyped up Masuaka, and literally, or Masuaku.
The next game, I picked him up, and the next game, red card. Suspended for 2 weeks.
You hate to see it, folks. But yes,
this is how I ended up in 12th.
The key with fantasy is like the attackers that you have got to be scoring goals. You gotta, and if the guy's scoring goals get an assist, you might as well consider picking him up. Next up on the list, same thing. We talked about him last time. Jordan Ayew just continues to be the guy that's getting the goals and you know, driving the machine at Crystal Palace, who are somehow in the top 4.
Yeah, I mean, he only has 3 goals, and then they have like Van Aanholt has scored 2, and just like randomness from there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about them. Like at some point, you'd expect Zaha, who has been a disappointment, has to start scoring goals. So I don't want to overhype Jordan Ayew and say like it's going to be like this all season. But until someone else steps up and starts doing something, he is their guy.
Yeah.
So.
And if the focus starts shifting towards him, and then Zaha will get more space, they will like the time period it will take for Ayew to attract attention as opposed to Zaha. Like Zaha just needs to have one good game, and then all the Premier League defense is like, oh no, stop marking Ayew. Let's go back to marking Zaha. So like even if he gets marked out for one game, or he'll have the space and the opportunities in that Crystal Palace side.
That's true. And look, they do have good fullbacks in Kelly and Van Aanholt that get up the field and create things for their strikers. So. It's probably a good buy.
Who would ever thought Martin Kelly would be in a sentence like that?
You know, he wasn't half bad for us. He just kind of got put in a role where, like, he became this defensive right back / center back. Because remember, he played center back for us several times. So it's not his fault. It's not his fault.
I like to pretend like I'm a genius for picking up Martin Kelly, but it's really that I had $4.6 million left,
and that's what he costs.
He was the only player left that I was like, I think he will start. Next up, we're gonna go double Leicester. First, Pereira.
Yeah, he's been good. He didn't have a good game against us necessarily, but the 2 or 3 games previous to that, he had been setting up goals. Did he score? He scored against Newcastle.
Yeah.
So I think like the way their fullbacks play is very similar to the way our fullbacks play. They're a good side. Like they're going to have a lot of the ball in games. They're going to create a lot of chances through their fullbacks, through their wide play. I would definitely pick him up if he's available.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, obviously, you know, I used to do NBA fantasy, so when
available.
I said he is available in this, I'm used to like free agent waiver wires where like you don't know if you're going to be able to get that person because somebody else got him. So that's why I said it's a habit to say if he's available.
No, he's available.
He's available.
If you
have the money.
Yeah. Yeah, and once again, like I said earlier, all defenders, wingbacks, because they get assists, they get goals. So, and if the clean sheet happens, they get the same as the center back. So I'm all for picking up wingbacks.
Yeah,
especially in systems like Rogers, where the fullbacks.
See, I have Chilwell, who's had a couple of good games, but he was hurt for like a while. So I'm like waiting. The verdict is, or the jury's still out. Yeah. I'm waiting to figure out whether or not I want to keep him or not.
Might shift. Yeah.
Might become a Pereira thing and just dump him.
Well, it could be like a Liverpool thing last year, where the whole first half of the season it looked like Trent fell off a cliff and Robbo was the world class assister, and now it's switched back for a whole year now, where it's been Trent providing all the stuff and Robbo's kind of playing a secondary role.
Yeah. Unless he's scoring off of Trent crosses.
Yeah, it's true.
It was such a ridiculous goal.
Oh, when I saw for that Salzburg game, when I saw Robbo in the 9 and it wasn't Bobby, I was like, oh, he better make this front post run. And then he just takes it. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's about to happen. We're about to get a Trent Alexander-Arnold pass to Robbo in the 6-yard box. It is the most beautiful piece of football you have ever seen.
It was glorious. That brilliant first half of that match.
Robbo plays the ball into the middle of the park, and then he takes the underlap, and he just takes the space, and he keeps. It's one of my favorite runs of all time. It was.
It still doesn't top his run against City.
It's true.
Where he just chased the entire team for 5 minutes
just
there,
screaming freedom the whole time. And lastly, from Leicester, he scored against us. He's been playing well. He's been not even just scoring, but hitting in bangers. There's plenty of people at my pub who swear to God we should sign him immediately.
No, this is going around a lot. Like everybody thinks we should sign him as like a Lallana replacement or something like that. I mean, I'm not against it, but it's what it would cost because he's English, right?
Yeah.
I was like, he's not from
he's
Ireland.
English.
Yeah, he's English.
He's English. Yeah.
So James Maddison would cost. What do you think? 70 million at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Leicester have been, pretty good at getting top dollar for their talents too.
Yeah.
Mahrez, Conte, Maguire.
Yeah.
I'm sure
they've been extortionate.
This next round, when they sell Tielemans at some point,
they're gonna get 100 million.
Yeah. So it'll be expensive.
But it wouldn't surprise me to see them just say no. We're gonna hang on to Madison no matter what.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if
they finish top 4,
exactly,
why wouldn't you?
Why would you have any desire to sell anyone if you're actually pushing up the table and finishing ahead of the likes of Arsenal?
If you're a player like, well, we're making the Champions League. We finished 3rd. Like, I don't know why I'd leave.
Yeah, the only move up is really to City or Liverpool at that point.
And if you're Leicester, you're like, in the last 5 years, we've won a title and been to the Champions League twice. If let's say the table finishes the way it is now, I mean, if I'm a player, like this is becoming.
United can't say that.
No.
Arsenal can't say that.
If you're a player, you're thinking like, is this becoming like a big club here? And they've got rich ownership. They've got a good sized stadium. There's nothing to balk at.
Got a rabid fan base.
He had a good coach.
They're the only show in town.
Yeah.
So there's the recipe is there.
Yeah.
To create.
They could stick around amongst the top 6 for all years.
That's a show for an entirely different day. But like talking about how Leicester kind of built this platform in a very smart manner, and like it took a step back to go 2 steps forward.
Yeah.
But they're still going forward.
Yeah.
There's plenty of clubs that get in that top 6. Burnley 2 years ago finished top 7, and now they're back down squabbling in mid-table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Leicester, for the most part, they were inches from relegation, and then went to win the title, and now are pushing for top 4. Yeah. It's a model for sustainability for some of those.
Maybe we'll do a show on that, like how we built, kind of like the different methods and
how
approaches.
United collapsed, all that, all the.
We'll do like 30 minutes on that.
Okay, now here we go. We got some key suspensions / key injuries. The first one, probably Bernardo Silva. The decision hasn't been made yet by the FA. But considering that Harvey Elliott just got suspended for 2 weeks for a tweet about Harry Kane being a mongoloid, which is just a basic fact. I don't know why.
It wasn't as offensive. It wasn't like it's offensive, but
what Bernardo Silva did, far more offensive, far more egregious.
I refuse to pay attention to like City Twitter.
Yeah.
So I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Until I heard about it afterwards.
It was bad. It was bad, folks. I don't care. Listen, I get locker room talk. I get all those arguments. The problem is...
Wait, so he's going to grab him by... No, I'm sorry.
No, the problem is Twitter isn't the fucking locker room, guys. Twitter is the whole world.
True. Yeah.
And you can't throw that kind of stuff out on Twitter and think it's hilarious. Maybe Mendy does think it's funny. Maybe it's their inside joke within the locker room and they're all cool with it. That's fine, but...
The rest of the world's not going to see it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And the rest of the world's not going to see it if it stays in that little bubble. It's no problem.
Yeah. There's a safe space, unless they put a camera in the locker room.
The problem is if you're stabbing someone in your living room and you draw the curtains and people see it, it's murder.
So wait, it's not if the curtains are drawn?
Hey, if a tree falls in the wood and no one's there to make a noise or whatever, if a bear poops in the woods and no one's there to wipe his ass, did he need Charmin Ultra? Who knows? These are the type of metaphors.
Now you're getting into a conversation about Twitter logic.
Yeah.
Because this is how logic works on Twitter.
Yeah. So, hey, all I got to say is my metaphor is what I stand behind, and that's all I got to say. Okay, next up for injuries. No, listen. Bernardo Silva should get banned. Wouldn't be surprised if the FA just were like, because it's City and it's not Liverpool.
Well, like, all right, so Luis Suarez got banned for what, 8? How many was the Patrice Evra thing?
Patrice Evra thing, I think it was 6 matches.
6 matches, and he said it to him like on a field. Now, look, I'm not going to excuse Suarez or anything like that, but what I'm saying is like, okay, so if that's something that was only understandable between like 2 people, this dude put this out into the world.
That and like, Luis Suarez and Patrice Evra both admitted, or mainly Patrice Evra admitted that he didn't think it was racist. Like he's like, I don't think he's racist, and I don't think what he said is racist. But
I don't think he should say it.
But he said something racist. You know, it was like that, right?
Yeah.
And Luis Suarez like vehemently argued, like, look, it wasn't racist. It's just a common terminology where I'm from or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So if that got 6 matches, and then you got to consider John Terry got banned for what he did to, what was Rio Ferdinand's brother's name? I can't remember his name.
Les?
No, that was the lead striker.
Yeah, no, I don't.
The other Ferdinand brother, he racially abused him on the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm all about kicking out all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
consistency
is the thing, though. Like, you have to consistently enforce the rules for everybody.
The FA is going to follow the precedents that they laid out. Then Bernardo Silva is probably going to get a suspension that's at least 4 to 5 matches, if not more. And that he kind of turned it around and got.
Because he started the season, he wasn't starting. You were complaining about because you had him on your team.
He's getting hockey assists and not starting, and it was like very annoying. And hockey assists don't get you points.
Don't get you any points.
So yeah, he's probably going to get suspended. So just be on the lookout for that. Next up, the man himself who snapped his arm in half and got me only 1 point last week, Hugo Lloris, is going to be out for quite some time.
I don't even know how you come back from that as a keeper.
Yeah,
like,
that's a tough one.
That's going to be a lengthy rehab process because, like, where it snapped, like,
yeah.
I can't even. Every time I think about it, like, my skin crawls, man.
Yeah. And listen, it's not like Spurs have been keeping the goals out anyways. So
yeah.
It's probably a blessing in disguise if, like myself, you had him and you're going to get rid of him. Because, I'm going to get rid of him because he's not even going to be playing.
No, and they're giving up goals left and right. Like, they're terrible at the back. There's no team cohesion right now. It's just a mess. I was like, nobody from Spurs, not just the attackers. Yeah. No one.
I
just
don't
avoid them all right now.
Don't often like to quote Sir Alex Ferguson, but lads, it's Tottenham. That's the greatest thing Sir Alex Ferguson has ever done.
It really is. I don't know. Well, so if you watch like old Ferguson clips, there's ones where he was like, "I'm not even going to say anything today. Don't even think about fucking this up. Don't even think about it." That's all he said. And they just like kicked him out of the locker room.
You know what? I hate the club, and but you got to appreciate it.
He had some gems.
Yeah, you got to appreciate it.
You don't stick around that long without being, pretty boss.
He's still Scottish at the end of the day.
And he's still Scottish.
So he still has a personality,
Yeah. A big one.
Just a big purple one. A big purple face personality. Last up, Mo. Mo could be hurt for at least 1
or 2 games.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, so I guess like the report said it's a twist, not a sprain or a break.
Yeah.
But we're not going to take any chances with him. He's got to sit. Yeah. If he's not 100%, just sit till you are 100%. Yeah. Like, we'll be okay. We all, we do have Sadio Mane and Bobby Firmino and one of the most talented squads around. So we can survive a game or 2.
I think all our main players are done with international duty by Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
And he didn't even go.
Yeah. So be on the lookout around Tuesday, Wednesday for team news updates, who's in training and who's not. And if Mo's not in training, then, you might want to, if he's on your team, think about putting him on the bench.
A borderline relegation side next anyways, so it's fine.
So just be on the lookout for a borderline. Oh, the subliminal shots. You got to love. That's why you tune in, folks.
I was just like, I got to get this in.
All right. By the hype, we got 3 players down here. The first one, our boy. Allison Becker.
I never sold him, so obviously I'm buying that.
Yeah.
I had Nick Pope as my backup goalkeeper, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Like, he gets you like 3, 4, 5 points a game or whatever.
Saves, clean sheets here and
exactly.
there. Yeah.
So I was just like, I'll just hold on to Allison and start Pope. Yeah. It's fine. So I never got rid of him. But if you did, probably time to get him back. Because to your point, we were talking a little bit off camera or whatever, but we were due for a stretch of clean sheets. It's been rough going.
We'll get into it in the main episode, and we'll bring Darius in, and we'll talk about it. Yeah, we're due some clean sheets. We haven't been getting them. It was our theme last year. It was just collecting clean sheets. I wouldn't be surprised if Allison comes in and we just start knocking clean sheets off.
20 straight clean sheets.
Yeah. So, for me, I already have
That would
three.
be amazing.
I already have 3 Liverpool players, so it's going to be a tough decision.
Same here. He is one of them.
Do I drop Robbo? Do I drop Mane? Do I drop Trent?
No,
Allison?
none of that.
Right?
Who's your wait? So you got Lloris, but there's enough keepers around.
Yeah.
Like, who are you looking at?
What, for keeper?
Yeah.
I was thinking about Nick Pope, honestly. It depends on what I could buy, honestly, with the money.
Yeah.
I was also thinking about possibly going and get Crystal Palace's goalkeeper, just for the Martin Kelly Crystal Palace double up, just to giggle to myself when that happens.
Who's the guy from Newcastle that's also like
Dubravka?
Yeah, Croatia's backup.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting him.
But in my head,
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I want to buy into this because I do think we're going to get a run of clean sheets. I want to buy into this Allison and just start getting the clean sheets at goalkeeper.